Hello, I can't do the hello, everybody. Hi, everyone. I'm a hi, everyone kind of girl. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of our show, Immoral, Practicality. I said it right this time around. This is...
Wait, are we... let's talk a little bit about the origins of the character. Superman comes from a planet called Krypton.
Mm-hmm.
Krypton is a few thousand years more advanced than Earth.
He's known as Kal-El.
L
over there. Kal-El. I
So
remember.
his name is actually Kal of the House of El.
Okay.
The House of El is a noble house on Krypton. And his father, Jor-El, is a scientist, Krypton's premier scientist.
Okay.
And Jor-El is the one who learns that the planet is going to die.
I love how you're such a fucking nerd. You
I'm
know the
such a
names.
nerd. I know the names.
You know everything.
I know
It's
everything.
crazy.
This is
That's
pretty
what
basic
captured. That's what captured your.
This is pretty basic shit. But basically what happens is, Well, basically what happens is Jor-El predicts that Krypton's going to implode. And their core is unstable. And so what Jor-El does is he builds a prototype rocket ship.
Okay.
And for animal testing. Because for whatever reason, even though they're like 5,000 years, 10,000 years more advanced than the Earth, they haven't figured out how to do space travel.
That's shit.
Yeah. So,
That's pure shit.
or at least mass space travel, I guess, because we haven't figured that out.
Listen, when you're that powerful, you don't worry about the little
That is
things.
true. That is true. Yeah, when you are. So that's a good point. So Jor-El puts the baby in the rocket ship and then sends him away,
Cute ass baby.
and the baby lands on Earth. And I think the story begins when he lands on Earth.
Right.
Because where he comes from, what happens prior to that doesn't really matter. But he's raised by the Kents.
Right.
And that is where...
The Kents are the best parents.
The Kents are the best.
Rohan,
And so,
they were the best parents.
right, so we talked about the origins. Let's get into why the Kents are such great parents and what about the Kents... So, what about the Kents inform Superman?
Here's my exposure to Superman. When I was little, I saw him already in action, already this great person.
Right.
But then it's so important to know, how did he grow up in this world of humans?
And why is he
being
the way he is?
Why is he the way he is? How did he become this version? When did it
Why
start?
does he not kill? Why does he not give into all of this incredible power?
Right? Where does his motivation come from? His morals come from?
Right.
Why is he innocent? There's a reason. Listen, you could be fighting wars and you cannot but not kill. And he still sticks to it. There's a reason. So let's go back to when he was younger and he was growing up with all this, right?
So
that's our next story.
So the story starts with a 10-year-old Clark. He's 10? Around 10.
Around 10, 11. He's adolescent.
Yeah, 10, 11. And he's flying, and Martha, his mom,
Is
holding onto his leg, and he's up in the sky. And,
uncontrollably flying.
Uncontrollably flying. So what's happening is Clark's powers are manifesting, and he doesn't really have control over them.
And he doesn't know what these powers are. He doesn't realize that one of his powers is to be able to fly.
Right,
it's happening,
because
but
he's
he
just
doesn't get
floating,
it.
and he can't stop.
He can't stop.
So Jonathan, his dad, is trying to run and look for them and trying to bring him down somehow.
He gets hurt too, right, in the process?
Right. And in the next page we see that they're all in the living room. They're all in the dining room together, and Martha's bandaging up. She was the one flying.
Right.
He's the one that got hurt.
I know.
That's amazing to me.
And he's like, being pampered because none of this anxiety was on the dad, John, right? He wasn't anxious because of it.
You know what? That's interesting.
Was he?
There was. And we'll talk about it as the story progresses.
Okay.
So he's being bandaged because he got cut. Why? Because when he was running around, he didn't wear shoes because he was worried.
Right. And then Superman goes like, "Why weren't you wearing shoes?"
Yeah.
Right.
Because I was really worried about you, son. So then they go.
Innocent.
It's really innocent. And so they're having this conversation, and then we go to the next day, and Clark's at the doctor. And here's something interesting.
In the morning, right before going to school.
Right before going to school. And the doctor comes to their house to check up on Clark. Here's something interesting about this story, which I really like.
Yeah.
Other people know that Clark has powers.
Yeah.
Which was never part of the origins before.
Right.
So in this particular story, the doctor, the farmer next door, they kind of know that Clark has these weird powers. And that he's adopted.
Yeah.
Clark is also aware that he's adopted. In some versions, he's told later, but here, Clark at 10, 11 knows he's adopted,
and
he's special,
different.
And that he's an alien. He's aware of all three things. So Clark goes to school.
You're right, it makes
Clark
sense.
is in class. His friend,
Yeah.
Pete Ross, leans over and goes like, "We're going to watch the movie at the DMV." Is it called? Yeah, drive-in movie. So we're gonna go watch the movie.
Is Lana coming?
Yeah, and Clark is like, "Is Lana coming?"
Oh,
Here's where we hear
cute.
about Lana for the first time, and we'll get to see who Lana is. So, and the teacher catches them, and Pete's like, "Why do you always have to bring Lana into this?" It's such a boy reaction in like 5th grade. So they all go to watch the movie, and it's amazing. They're watching E.T.
Yeah.
And E.T.'s about an alien, obviously. So
I did not know that. I was
Right.
so focused on them.
Yeah.
You told me later that they were actually watching
it's actually
E.T.
revealed a little later.
A little later.
Yeah. So they're watching E.T. and it's the
All right.
yeah. So they're watching E.T. and Clark starts to float again. And
Yes.
he's sitting next to Lana.
He's
And
sitting
so
next
he's
to
like,
Lana.
Clark is obsessively in love with
In
Lana.
love with
right?
Lana. He's
Okay.
baby.
And
He's starting to float
and he just starts to
off.
float up, and everyone's like, "What?" And then he suddenly crashes onto the ground, and everyone's like, "Oh, there must have been like a gas pocket." Or something.
Oh my god, that was their explanation.
That was
for
their
it.
explanation for it. And so Clark runs away,
Yeah.
embarrassed. He runs into the bathroom. He sees himself, and he sees E.T.
Yeah, in the mirror.
in the mirror.
Yeah.
That's how we know he was watching E.T.
This is what I thought, that someone from his alien world was trying to contact.
It's nothing weird and cheesy like
Because
that.
we have seen cheesy shit like that.
We have seen
but there was nothing like that in
No,
this
no,
story.
no. It's an amazing, pure story. So,
Uh-huh.
so he punches the mirror. First he breaks down the door, punches the mirror, and the mirror, including the wall, just blasts out.
So
of the wall.
his strength, he just,
Right.
was
But he knows
encounter-
he's super strong already.
already?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So Jonathan picks him up,
Yeah.
and then Clark is like, "Am I in trouble because I started flying again?" And Jonathan's like, "No, you're in trouble because you broke a wall."
Yeah.
And he's
You
like,
caused damage.
Right, and Clark doesn't understand that initially. He's like, "Why is that?" And Jonathan explains to him that don't be a what? A jerk.
Don't be a
Don't be a
jerk.
jerk because jerks break things and hurt people.
That was such a simplistic
It's
way
a very
of.
simplistic way of explaining it to.
And the dad wanted to, help him understand the consequences of your actions.
Right.
And you cannot just give in to anger like
Right,
that.
right.
No matter what happens.
Throughout the story, it's told from a little bit from Jonathan's
little bit.
perspective, and it's an interesting tell on the relationship between a son and his parents, because mothers love unconditional. That's the beautiful thing about moms. So Martha's like, whatever is happening, I'm 100% on board.
Right.
But with Jonathan, he needs to understand two things: one, how to raise his son,
Right.
and second, how to impart the fact that he's fathers need to teach their sons how to be men, right? That's
Yeah.
like one of the essential duties that you have to do as a father. But also, usually your son's weaker than you are, so you help them. This boy is punching walls down.
He is so much stronger.
Right.
And he's a superhuman.
Right.
And
so he doesn't really
there's-
know how to deal with that.
Yeah, and
How
he
to-
also wants to teach his son how to be a good person.
Exactly.
And not become evil
And
from
not-
his
not-
superpowers.
Not abuse his power.
Not
Yeah.
abuse his power. So, okay, you know how dads teach sons to ride a bike, right? That's the kind of father-son
Kind of.
bonding, right?
Yeah.
What's happening
That's
here?
interesting that you okay.
What's happening here?
So Jonathan realizes that Clark is special. Well, he knows this, but he goes like, okay, I can't teach you how to be a man in the traditional sense, so I'm gonna have to teach you how to use your powers. So he just picks Clark up and he starts running down the cornfield.
Right?
And he goes like, "Can you fly yet? Can you fly?"
There's a car, right? And
Oh, no.
under pressure,
first he's just
Clark
running with
cannot. Yeah. Under pressure, Clark cannot at first.
He can, and then he starts to. At first, he's just running with them over him, and that doesn't work. So then he puts Clark in the pickup.
Yeah.
He starts riding it really fast,
Yes.
and then Clark's like, "I still can't fly."
Yeah, and people are watching from the other side.
Yeah.
What's happening
Like,
with this
what
guy
is-
with his arms up in the air?
Yeah.
It was a crazy. It was very. It was funny.
It's really fun. It's really
It's
sweet.
very
And then
comedy.
Clark falls, but he's unhurt by all of it.
Yeah.
Because
He
he's
crashed on the ground.
He's invulnerable.
Yeah.
And Clark and Jonathan sit down at the stairs, and this is the moment which I think solidifies Superman perfectly, because Clark says, "Dad, the wall that I punched out, somebody built that wall,
Yeah.
and somebody put it together. Somebody built the bricks, somebody put it together. Somebody made that wall. Somebody made that glass, put it on, and when I punched it through, I destroyed all of their work.
All of their work. He was
And I
not
feel like a
just-
jerk.
He feels like
And I don't like feeling like a jerk.
right, not just conscience setting in. He was so compassionate. He was
Right.
realizing his mistake, and like you said, his dad did kind of,
Impart that knowledge to him.
exactly, and he caught on.
Right.
He's so little, Rohan.
Yeah.
And he's not just superhuman, he's also very human.
He's very human.
He's
Yeah.
more human than
fact,
us.
we're gonna
We wouldn't realize that.
Put a pin on that. We're gonna come back to that.
Okay.
So Clark. Oh, again, he starts floating again,
Yeah.
uncontrollably.
And there was that airplane scene, right?
We're gonna get to that right
Okay,
now. So
okay.
what happens is Clark starts floating
I'm
for like the
excited.
5th time in the story. And this time he can't control it. And
Yeah.
his mom isn't holding on to him, and his mom is like, okay, concentrate on not going higher. Concentrate on coming down. At some point, Clark is stuck, because what happens is Clark starts going up and he can't stop.
Yeah.
At this point, Clark does stop, but he's in the air just floating.
Floating.
Suspended. And so Jonathan runs over to the neighbor and goes like, you have a plane? And he's like, I do, for crop pesticides and stuff.
Right.
He's like, let's get on the plane.
I have to
and
go grab my
I have to go
son.
grab my son. And
You know
he's
how
like,
it's, dads pick up their sons from play dates?
Yeah.
He's picking
Like-
out from the
Yeah,
air.
so he's like, I'm gonna pick him up, and then the farmer's like, okay, so your boy has glowing eyes, he's super strong, and now he can fly. There's something wrong with your son. And he's like, he's my boy. You shut up now.
Give me
okay?
your fucking plane.
Yeah, give me your plane. I need to do this. And so he grabs like a wire, a big wire to like hook Clark into.
This
right?
is when I want to cry because keep going,
Yeah,
keep going.
So then the farmer's like, at the speed we're gonna go,
yeah.
that's gonna cut through your boy.
Yeah.
And he's like, Clark won't get hurt.
Uh-huh.
He's like, wait, he can't be hurt now? He's like, that's what there's powers?
Oh my god, I love
He's
it.
really concerned. He's the one rational guy go like, this thing might kill us all.
Yeah.
Your boy. And so Jonathan goes up and gets on the plane, and he hooks Clark,
Yeah.
and then it hooks into his shirt. He's wearing a red shirt.
And
And
it
it-
rips it
He's
apart.
wearing a red jumper, a red sweater.
And the
And it
sweater.
rips.
Uh-huh.
And then it becomes a cape.
Okay, that's the
And
origin.
if we can, we're gonna put up a picture. But Clark finally understands how to fly.
And he has the Superman red
And he has
cape.
the Superman red cape.
That was the origin of how the cape came
That
about.
is how the cape came about.
I want to cry when I realized that's what was happening.
Yeah.
And there was that picture.
And
in
it's
the
so
the artwork
it is
was
so well done,
excellent.
and it is
Okay.
so unprecedented. It comes out like you will not predict that's what will
Right,
happen.
and then Superman,
Yeah.
he starts to channel off of Nyla energy, and he starts dreaming big.
So Clark goes back home. Okay, so Clark finally learns how to control his flying
Yeah.
ability.
And he's like telling his parents, rest
They all
assured.
sit down in the dining room again. The story begins in the dining room, ends in the dining room.
Right.
And Clark is like,
Full circle.
it comes full circle, and Clark is like excited.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, we can go on vacations. I can pick you up and then like take your car and go to
He was,
Timbuktu.
he was on a Nyla
He
high.
was,
That's
he
what
was,
I call a
he was
Nyla high.
hyped, and he was just like, he was so excited. He was so
Yeah.
happy.
You guys don't even have to spend money. I will take you wherever you need to go.
Right.
He even went to Timbuktu. That was
Yeah,
so cute.
it's
I'll
so-
take you to Hawaii. I'll take you to Timbuktu.
Yeah.
Wherever you want to go.
And so
And he wants to give the world that he's feeling a surge
Right.
of power
He's
and
also at some
fun.
point he also goes like, obviously, oh, can I go to school? That's so beautiful. He's like,
Can I
can I go to school
like
next? But also like, no one has. I know no one can know that I have power, so
Yeah.
I'll be super discreet,
Uh-huh.
like Wonder Woman coming through my window. I'll be super discreet
That
about
was
it.
really nice.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's so sweet, so adorable, and then it ends with. Did you notice the montage? The collage at the very end? Did you see that?
I don't know.
The
What
last
was
page,
it?
you didn't read it? The collage of the wall. It's the Kent's lives.
I haven't.
It's a collage of
How
their
did I miss
their
that?
marriage, them getting pregnant.
Oh right. And there were these
and then,
letters.
Okay, yeah. So they're
That's what I wanted to ask you about. What was the letters about?
So all the
I read
letters,
some of the letters
yes,
a little bit.
So all the letters are about like it's basically like a tell-all of their life.
Yeah.
They were pregnant. They got in a car accident. There was a miscarriage. Martha can't have kids anymore.
and God
and
gives
then
them
they
Superman.
God gives them Superman.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And it's there,
Of
look.
course
There
there's
isn't
that.
much to tell about this story. The point is, Superman.
You again have goosebumps.
I have goosebumps on my
God.
face. Superman. Clark is Superman because his parents raised him to be a good person.
Yeah.
That is the fundamental of the character.
His parents supported him. His parents showed him the way. His parents taught him how to control his powers. While they had no idea what was this.
What they were doing. That's the
right?
best part.
That was the best part.
Yeah. It's not like we're used to raising aliens.
Yeah,
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, another human aspect of this, when parents become parents, they don't know what this other personality is to be raised. And parents go with it, do their best.
Yeah.
These people were doing the exact same thing.
Exactly.
But their challenges were huge. Their challenges were crazy because they're not dealing with a human being.
Absolutely.
But they're raising him to be human. I feel like that is why he grew up to be such a good man. If I kill someone, if I hurt someone, everyone else gets affected the same way I once punched a mirror and then, it affected people's work.
Exactly.
So his principles were inbuilt since he was a little boy because of what his parents taught him.
Right.
And because the reason why he's faithful to his wife, no matter what, I feel like it's because of the love he has grown up watching between his parents.
They infused like a sense of, okay, so
Having
our
good
show
parents is so important, Rohan. I cannot stress that enough.
Our show is called Immoral Practicality.
Yeah.
And it comes from a saying which also includes the term moral and practicality.
Yeah. Do you remember that?
Do you think I do remember what I'm not going to say right now.
Okay.
We're going to do an entire segment on the naming. Do you think Clark's morality is an impractical one? I fully think so. And it works for him.
In what way?
Because Clark is like, I am super naive and I'm unbelievably optimistic, and it works for him because he can actually perform those. He's super fast, super strong. He can be super. He can be those crazy things.
He can hold on to his morals.
He can hold on to his morals
And still be naive and
circumstances
delusional.
where it would be impossible for us to do so. And see, that's why Superman is Superman. He's not Superman because of all his powers. He's Superman because he is the example that we all must strive towards.
Oh my god!
He is super.
That is
human.
Amazing.
He is more human than we are ever going to be capable.
I'm so in love with this. This is amazing. This perspective. Like, I still remember the first time you told me about all this.
Right,
we didn't have we had a 7-hour talk about this, but
we did, yeah.
It was. I mean, I'm feeling more, love towards Superman than I did the first time around. Fucking great. So fucking enormous respect.
So, at the end of this, let me ask you again 2 questions. One, there is a critique about Superman which says Superman is boring, unrelatable, and too powerful. That's the general consensus of modern fans.
Too powerful?
Too powerful. Do you agree with any of this?
I don't think he's too powerful at all. He has weaknesses. He has weaknesses. Okay, imagine this. If I'm the villain and I'm trying to attack him, I would know exactly where it hurts. I would go attack Lois. I would go attack his family.
It's not public knowledge that Lois is.
It's not?
It's not.
Okay.
No one knows that Superman is Clark Kent. He has a secret.
I would know where to hurt him because he is so human. His weaknesses are there in his battles. I'm telling you, he's not as powerful as we think. He has his faults. He does fail, and he gets back up. So that doesn't make him too powerful. I feel like calling him too powerful is not a compliment here. Okay, because he is fighting through his morals. Okay, when he is being attacked...
Would you say that is the biggest... His morals are his anchoring point?
Exactly.
Right?
Listen, he's being attacked from all sides, and yet he cannot kill. If he just kills one of them, the others may fall. But he wouldn't give into that,
Right.
What do you call it? The killer thing. Ugh.
It is his restraint.
Kill instinct, right.
Right.
He has this restraint. Do you realize how much it takes to power through that? Like, you have to strategize 10 times harder. And you have to realize that if I kill, all my morals go down the drain. So when he's not trying to kill, he's trying to save people. When it would just be that easy to kill. That's his weakness as a superhuman or superhero. Because superheroes never have qualms about killing. Okay? That's how they get their job done. But he has to strategize.
Here's the funny thing. People who defend Superman by going like, no, he's not, none of those things that you just said, like I just posed the questions of, they say the same thing. Always. They're like, no, this is humanity is the part. I do think he's a little overpowered. Here's how. Superman's powers include flight, invulnerability, super strength, laser eyes, right? Those are the known ones. He's also got X-ray vision, telescopic vision, microscopic vision, so he can see down to atoms. He can stand in India and look at Australia and go like, oh, that's what's happening in the outback. Oh,
Oh my god.
He can do those things.
Wow.
I dislike that aspect of it because you can write, as we saw in these stories, you can write and ground and make human an omnipotent character. You can't do the same with an omniscient character.
That
You
was
know,
beautiful.
a character who's all-knowing, a character who can perceive everything at any given time. You can't do that with them, and I think that's the sucky part of Superman. If he can see through walls,
Yeah.
it's difficult to ground him.
So it's not really that difficult for him to strategize how to not kill because he just knows all the outcomes. He can see
Exactly, right? That kind of
Okay.
see how that kind of
So what I thought was a battle in his mind,
Is
battle
it?
within,
right?
is it really?
See, that's how that's the part which I think kind of dumbs down the characters.
It's mind-boggling what
Right.
you're doing to my head
Because
right now.
people associate Superman with Jesus.
Yeah.
This guy who's capable of doing everything. Walk on water, turn water into wine, heal the lepers, do all of that.
Yeah.
And Superman's not, he's not Jesus.
Yeah.
Superman was created by Jerry Siegel, the writer, and Joe Shuster,
Yes.
the artist, okay? They were two Jewish boys from Boston. Think about Superman. Superman's a baby on a rocket ship who travels through space and comes to Earth. What does that story remind you of? An Israeli child born
Moses.
destined to destroy Egypt
Yeah.
or bring about the end of the
Do you
Pharaoh's
know-
reign.
Do you know where I remember this part from?
Where?
First time you asked me that question all those years ago, I couldn't answer.
Right.
Now I just remember
Right.
Moses.
All those years, we met this year.
It's been 1,000 years.
Okay, fair enough. So it's Moses.
Fuck you.
He is Moses.
Yeah.
And that's the story. It's a story about how a foreigner comes to our land, adopts our ways, becomes our hero, right? Becomes the moral standards that we aspire to. He's not a character who can do everything. That's not what he's supposed to be about. Keep the basics, get rid of the omniscient nonsense, and do your character justice. Also, the movie, and I really hate this, okay?
Okay, yeah, you wanted to tell me.
I just want to talk about one
something
final
about
thing
the
before we
movie.
end the episode about the movie, right? People really have a hard-on for Krypton. I don't understand why. The Man of Steel movie, we spent 20 minutes on Krypton.
Really?
Yeah.
I have not
And
watched
everyone's
it.
obsessed about Krypton. No, the part which grounds him, makes him human, the origin that is essential is Smallville. You spend time on Smallville. That is the part of the character that is needed. You know?
I banged on the
Yeah,
table.
because Superman's story does not start from Krypton. Superman's story starts the minute he lands on
Your
Earth.
Goosebumps! If only the camera could see your head.
Yeah.
Your hair is spiked.
Superman's
Your beard
story.
is spiked.
Superman's story starts the minute he lands and the Kents find him.
The passion you have when you talk about this stuff. Oh my God, Rohan, the passion! It's electrifying. I'm generating off of that energy.
So that was our Superman episode. Did you have fun?
Oh my God, this is better than the first time around. Oh my God, that was awesome. Well, I hope you enjoyed this.
Hope you enjoyed this episode.
Perspective. Oh my God.
Come back next week for our. Subscribe to the channel.
Subscribe
all right.
to the channel.
Share this video. Like it if you liked it, and we'll see you next week.
No
for,
thumbs down. I will. No.
Let's not threaten
Please.
our audience.
Yeah.
Okay.
We love
back.
you.
We'll be back
We
next
love
week.
doing this.
We do.
We'll be back next week.
We'll be back next week.
Thursdays. Bye.